know I did it again. All right. All right. So, Alex, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Sure. Hello, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity.
Alex will be speaking today about IQ4 and what it can do for everybody as far as being a mentor here. And we also have Frank, who's the CEO and founder of it. Hello, Frank.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. Honor to be here.
All right. So with that, I am going to talk about how we are working on finalizing our agreement to provide a mentorship program for our members so that we can get CPE credits by helping students, college students, high school students, filling that cyber gap that we all know about. And Frank has a very nice presentation with Alex. And take it away, Frank. I gave you the ability to share your screen.
Okay, great. It still shows that it's disabled. Okay, hold on. No. Here we go. Let's see. Can you all see the screen?
Not yet. There we go.
Great. So thank you all. Greatly appreciate being here, and also with my colleague Alex, and he'll give you a little background on himself as well. Maybe it has. Did you want a little background on us first, or do you want us just to get into the pre-so, Alan?
Just get into it because we're running a little late.
Gotcha. Okay. So IQ4 is a technology company that has focused on the skills gap across all markets and disciplines, but we focused on cyber about 6 years ago because of the obvious reasons, and it's just grown. It's actually so far ahead of us that we're trying to keep up. But what we've done is we're trying to solve the issues of finding and building talent, especially in the educational system, through the colleges primarily, but back even into the high schools. And the goal of the technology and why we built it was to kind of do two things. One is to create a new digital resume of talent that focuses on competencies and skills, provides pathways and opportunities for young people to understand what skills they have actually, and where they can go with those skills, and then ultimately the jobs in the market that are currently available in those pathways. And the second thing that we built was the ability to apply those skills, because we all on the call here and in the marketplace, in terms of talent acquisition, or the biggest risk is the person capable of doing the job, right? And so what we realized was there was no scalable capability to do that. And so we built a platform that facilitated scale and automation in the area of applied learning, better known as virtual apprenticeships. So I'll get into the key areas, which is really at the end of the day, with the technology, we felt we could take a dent out of the war for talent. And we've been doing this now for about 8 years. In cyber, we've probably put close to 8,000 students through the program. And believe it or not, that was more of a piloting, because this is a very complicated area. This is not a learning management system. This is an interactive, real world project-based learning system. So that means there's mentors involved, you all, as Alan mentioned, that get involved in these projects with the students. And so the goal we have is to really create some of the awareness and preparedness of the workforce and for students. And so we set 3 objectives, and I'm kind of fast forwarding a lot of work we've done, but we've set 3 objectives based on the heels of the success of where we've been with this. And it's one is to sponsor and bring 10,000 cybersecurity students through the program over the next few years. That number's actually been updated. We're now looking at almost 100,000 by 2025. And it's a global initiative. So we're in the United States, we're in Latin America, we're in Europe, and we're in Asia. And what we really want to do is focus on fostering diversity and inclusion, because we really feel level the playing field is key. The second is to really create a skills marketplace that mobilizes education and industry, and it's based on a standard. So we use the NICE framework, not to be confused with NIST. You all know what NIST is, and we use NIST as a core methodological approach to helping students understand the process that companies have adopting in terms of dealing with cybersecurity and intrusion and protection and reporting and the whole bit. And at the same time, the NICE framework is similar in that the government established a standard in terms of the skills that are needed to support the NIST framework. So we've incorporated that taxonomy as part of our program. Part of the program, in addition to the projects, is really assessing the level of skills of the students as they're going through the program. So we needed to base it on proficiencies and assessments of those skills and how well students are applying that to the real world. So that's the second. That's what we define as a skills marketplace, and the supply and demand behind it. And last is massively scaling this, as I mentioned before. And so from a content perspective, like yourselves, we've created something called the Cybersecurity Workforce Alliance. I'll speak to it in a moment. But it began like you all did. We had 10 CISOs from New York. I think we had Phil Venables over at Goldman and Jerry Brady at Morgan Stanley and a few folks from the Fed Reserve, et cetera. And we pulled a program together, and the first project we launched was the Threat Within. So it was all about insider threat. Use cases were espionage and IP theft, et cetera. And now we've expanded. We probably have a dozen programs from the dark side, the dark web, cyber audit, governance compliance. So there's a whole number of new projects that we've added based on the demand that the industry has required. And that cybersecurity workforce today really focuses on those on not just creating the awareness and the workforce readiness of the student workforce, but we're really targeted on 4 outcomes. One, we want to become, and we've actually now have, and this is part of the CPE credit program, we want to be able to issue credentials for students that are work-based learning in terms of their construct. There's really not a lot of that in the market. You could find certifications, for example, IC2 or ISACA or school degrees or what have you. But in terms of applying what somebody learned or something in a real world project, we felt it's an opportunity to help employers see and validate that students did apply their knowledge. They did get assessed by counterparts like yourselves, colleagues. And that's probably the most important focus for us, and it will continue to be this year, is creating these credentials around, these macro credentials around occupations within cyber. We are also a national sponsor for the Department of Labor apprenticeship program, so we're very well aware of how to structure the KSAs and competencies around occupations. And then, of course, reducing the cost. We found that we've got, in general, a 10x return on investment by virtualizing the ability to find and secure talent, and increase that cyber risk has now expanded not just to 10,000 students, but we're now realizing cyber hygiene is important for everybody. And so we've expanded the program there. And then we've also been working with IBM and the National Student Clearinghouse, Department of Education, and many others on establishing a new skills registry, a digital combination, if you would, of a resume and a transcript, and that's called a learning and employment record. And I'm not going to get into any of that detail, but the importance of an individual's skills and provides the ability for that person to look at pathways, and it doesn't just have to be a student, it could be anybody, but pathways, what the skills gaps are that they need to achieve to get those, to have the skills for that role, and then the actual jobs in the market. And I'll just fast forward through this. I think the most important highlights here of the 7,000 students that we've had is a couple of things. One, we focused on level of playing field. So this I don't know if you're familiar, of course, with the CUNY, the City of New York school system. They've got about 500,000 students. Household income average is about 20,000 a year. And SUNY and other public school systems in New Jersey, we do a lot with St. Peter's and others in the state and all over the world, but mostly in this area. Of the 7,000 students, 99% of them had no previous experience in cyber, none. And 25% that ended up graduating, 25% of them got jobs in cyber with an average income of $62,000 a year. And 45% of those graduates are women that are in cyber. So we think we crushed the barriers of not just proving that we could take any student in any location on the planet and they could become very competitive no matter what school they go to be able to have skills in cyber, but we also did it in a way where we've really looked at all the demographics. So D&I is very important to us. And this is just a picture of what that wallet looks like. We call it the wallet. This is the digital program. So you can see up here, this is Izzy, and she's got her educational background and experience. Here's the skills she has, professional skills and technical skills. This is a digital bar, if you would, or almost like a QR code. And there's it shows you what the skills are. And in this case, we're comparing it to a role that she's interested in. So the diagonals are all the skills she needs to build on. And then she could look down here and see, in fact, let me see if I could open this up a little bit. Don't want to strain your eyes at 6 o'clock at 6:30 at night. So you could see here in the communication area, she's got 3 out of 4. And so these are the different skills that she has and areas that she could, you could click a button on any of these or any of the squares and it takes you to the courses that she needs. And then a portfolio of, a really active data-based type of portfolio that renders an individual's accomplishments in a live way. So, we feel that that's important. And now, good, I was able to get it down. And on the left side are pathways. So with those skills that she has, oh, sorry about that. With the skills that she has on the left, it's suggesting different roles, because you can see here. And then in terms of the roles, she could go in and select which roles she'd like to pursue. Database administrator, data analyst, cyber defense analyst, and then each one of those she could click on, and she'll find the gaps that she needs to fill, etc. And this is the original group that we launched with the program in 2015 actually, in January. And today we've gone from 11 people originally to just under 3,000 members. About 1,200 are mentors. And I think this is a really important slide, because what we found was you can't just develop technology to solve the skills gap. It's an ecosystem problem. So we had to incorporate technology, standards. We had to put a business case behind it and an engagement model and how we work. And that engagement model is part of what we were talking about here. And we welcome Alan and his vision and Alex's participation and introduction, and Deborah Corner, who's on the call, really on our side pulled it all together as our first official chapter from ISC Squared to join. And we're really thrilled about it. We think there's a phenomenal opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to the mentors now to Alex to talk about it, and even Alan, because the idea of being able to help create awareness is one thing and preparing young people, but the ability to give back and feel really awesome about it is just amazing. So with that, I'll turn it over to Alan.
Right.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you,
Alex.
Frank. Alex, yes, that's fine. Thank you. So I know Ken for many years. I don't even remember how long, and I've been on the SACA board for 14 years, and I ever thought that we will talk one day as a president to the president. I served as ISACA New York Metropolitan Chapter president a year ago, 2 years ago, and I'm still on the board there. And then I just discovered that Ken became a president. I congratulated him, but I would never expect that, you see the rocket on this slide? That's what Ken did to your chapter. I don't know any other chapter IC2 were doing as much as Ken is doing, and I don't know anyone who really took off so well. We at ISACA have been building on this, for 50 years or so, and improving and, continuously. Ken just took it over and create just tremendous events, attract so many people. His rate of growth just unbelievable, and it's a great community. I was fortunate to attend a couple of meetings, and I just like the warmth and the friendship which people exhibit there, and social connection, and it's all just was created. So just just tremendous, very impressive, and I suggested to Ken that maybe we'll bring another topic about mentorship. And it happened that Ken and I have been talking about him becoming a mentor, and he is one of the people who really making this reality in IQ4. He'll talk about it himself. So why I'm here? I also got introduced to IQ4 through our former international chairwoman, Terry Grafenstein, and then it took off. I met Deborah, who we see on the screen, and I immediately recognized the value of this partnership. So in 2 years as our president, first one I really was building a chapter and process and everything. Second year I really expanded the partnership, and there are many of those, but this is one of the most interesting which we did with IQ4, I would say. Right. I think I didn't make jokes yet, but we'll live the life.
No, wait a minute. Hold on, Alex. Ken has the joke knob, the volume. So.
Oh, okay.
That's what that
so
is.
it wasn't synchronized.
Correct.
Synchronized. Right. Okay. Very good. So, I immediately recognized the value of that when we met with Deborah and some other senior people there, and then I met with Frank, which was a real treat later on. So what is the value there? So between say ISACA or IC2, and anybody who is in orbit, with this rocket, going around. I'm not sure it's the right metaphor or not, but what ISACA does, one of the things is we're building a relationship with our future members, with the students. So we have academic relations committee. We're going to colleges. We're building clubs with them. We're engaging them. We're helping them to find their way in a profession. So I've done many presentations in different colleges, just telling them about career choices, about careers and risk and technology and audit, etc., as well as what ISACA can help. So we engage with that community. We also have, 4,000 members, at least when I was there, so a lot of them are senior people who really want to give back to the community, to the profession, to the young people, to inspire them, to help them. So we have these two things already in our book, so to speak, right? Assets. So what Frank and his company does very similar type of thing. He engages mentors. He engages colleges and students. So I saw, well, this is an opportunity for cross-pollination. We can be introduced to the new population of mentors and students, as well as we can introduce IQ4. So we immediately amplify our reach to the people, right? And of course, our meetings were really, place where, IQ4 and SCWA were recruiting new mentors as well when we had especially in-person meetings. So that was one of the things I immediately saw that we can collaborate, right? Which was a win-win and win proposition, right? But in addition, if we're thinking about the needs of the mentors, it's not just the selfless service, but they also need to get the CPEs, right? And the senior people don't have time, to really sit in a class, or maybe they don't even need to sit in a class because they can teach the classes, right? So we could provide, and we did, with permission from our, mothership, ISACA, we were providing CPE hours, up to 10 hours at least. And we issued tons of that certificates, hundreds of hours, to all the mentors who were on the books for IQ4. So how it helped? It helped them. It helped us because we built a relationship with them, and it helped credentializing, overall, people because they need it for their certification. So that's a few of the things which I saw the proposition. But going beyond this type of mechanics, we really get a lot more people engaged with that. So Alisa Mbaka, who is on a call right now, hello Alisa, she's a former board member, but she's also a mentor. So so we open the channels, and I think that Ken's vision includes that, open the channels for people to participate and contribute and give back and then help people, and a lot of people like to be mentors. I didn't mentor through IQ4, but I mentored tons of people through ISACA who were coming to me with kind of career choices, questions, and any type of thing. But that again go beyond that. So what Frank mentioned, that why I like that slide. I think we were designing the slide several years ago. So I said, okay, I'll use the slide because this is really, that's the way the career taking off. So the booster in a launching pad and a booster, this is what it provides, because otherwise they may be just pedestrians, but they can be astronauts if we launch them on this rocket and we give them a skill set, and also that would help to bridge this tremendous cyber skills gap. There's millions of jobs, allegedly open. I'm not sure that where all of those, but that helps. That helps to bring the qualified people, find the talent where we cannot find. Look on the non-traditional type of people. Frank mentioned already that they're looking for people who may not have a lot of computer or a cybersecurity background, but they can be successful. A lot of things can be taught with the right personality. Everything is possible, right? So that's where I see that. Also want to add that LER, which Frank mentioned. This is tremendous solution. I don't think that we would talk a lot about this. This is an idea which I had in my mind for a while, and I did talk about it with some professional associations, and I haven't seen them really understanding the value of that. When I met Frank, and I met actually with his developers in Ireland, and I saw the solution, it just awe-inspiring, what they were able to accomplish by creating this portable blockchain-based record. And Frank may speak more if question will be coming for him for that. So so to conclude, I will be passing it to Ken. But if you're interested to participate in any capacity as a mentor, I would highly recommend that. And if you know someone who may be in help for that, to bring that opportunity to them, that's another thing which would be open and available. So with that, I will turn to Ken, and he can talk about his specific experience as a mentor.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. That was very thorough. My experience with IQ4, Deborah, got me on LinkedIn, and it immediately sounded like something that I really wanted to do. And within the next day, she threw me into a class to see if I would like it, and it was just such an experience where you see these students giving presentations as if they were already a year in consultants. They had full PowerPoint slides and saying why the threat came, where the threat was, what happened, how it happened, and what they did to stop it. It was all mock, obviously, and they worked together as a team, and it was really like what I did for 20 years. And to watch these students do this before even entering the workforce was amazing. And I started to be like, oh boy, I wish I had this 2 years ago. It would have been helpful. But the fact that these kids are getting such a jump at such an early age was astounding. And I immediately saw the value of this and saw that I was able to contribute as well. So for me entering it was a no-brainer. And so immediately I became a mentor, not even thinking of bringing it into ISD squared, just thinking for myself. And then when I spoke to Alex, and Alex was just talking to me about other things, and then he talked about IQ4 and how he merged it with ISACA. And I was like, oh, that's an easy solution. We'll just do the same thing for ISD squared. And I'm doing my second mentorship with the school right now with St. Peter's, and great group of kids. And we have somebody from here also that's doing it with me, Alyssa. She's a mentor as well. And we have the president of InfraGuard as another mentor there. I mean, it's an amazing group of people that are doing this, volunteering to help these kids out. And look at all the different, on the left, they have the dark side, the threat within. Those are all the different programs that they had. I'm in the threat within right now. And it is wonderful to see how far they come in the program, where they start from. They start from really zero, and they're being trained by a teacher throughout this process. And then we, as mentors, grade them once a week on their presentation skills and the content that they have in it. And we beat them up. And it's great. I mean, because you really get the satisfaction. I mean, they're there. It's not like school where their parents paid for it and they really didn't want to be there. This is something that they are doing extra, and so they want to be there. So you really see it when you're working with the kids, and it's just phenomenal. And I'm learning things from other mentors also as they critique the students, and it's just a wonderful experience that I really wanted to give to everybody here to share. And you get CPE credits as well. So I think and that's why I really am working hard to have this arrangement. And I think most of you could benefit from it. And for those students that are here, you might want to think about signing up for this program as well, possibly. So there's not much more I can say about it than what I have, but it's really that whole passport that Frank was talking about before is an amazing concept. You could just give that passport to a potential employer, and it shows that you have done an apprenticeship, and that's really what's missing. I mean, when I had our first meeting here in October as president, we had such an interesting discussion. The students were complaining that they didn't have enough skills to get the jobs, and we had the people that were over 50 complaining that they had too much experience and they couldn't get the jobs. And and something like this could really help both sides work together. And I think it's just a perfect marriage here. So anyway, that's really what I wanted to say about it, and I hope people take advantage of it. And if there's any questions, please reach out to me or Deborah or Frank or Alex. But and Alex has been doing it for a year now, and it's worked out very well. So somebody writes, how does this help people over 50? I'll tell you, because you're networking with people now. You're not you're not doing it by yourself. You're working with other people that are, and the more you network, the more chances you have of talking about, I mean, you know how it works. Just like, why do you join this organization? It's through network. Networking gets you the jobs. It's not putting your resume up there. So, I mean, my last one that I did, I was partnered with a lawyer, a cyber lawyer, and that was a wonderful experience. I think just the more people that you meet, the better chances are of you getting a job if you're out of work. That's what I have to say. So anyway, anything else you want to conclude on, Frank?
Had to get off mute. Ken, do we have any of our students, alumni on the call?
Yeah, we do. We do actually.
Who's on the call?
Hans, you're on the call, right?
Yes, I am. Hi, Ken.
How
Hi,
about a few minutes from your side? Share with the group what your experience was before you got involved with it. I mean, we've never talked, guys, so this is going to be candid. I hope we were impressionable. But certainly, if you could share with the group, I think I personally, I love hearing the students talk about what they thought they were getting into and what they ended up with, and then the mentors, how satisfying it is. So sure.
Oh yeah. So I'll be glad to share a bit of details about my experience with Ken. So I first found out about IQ4 when I knew that one of the mentors was coming at my college, and they were talking about having an insider threat program for people to participate in, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to be in it because I thought it would be a good way for me to start into cyber, because before I was interested in being in the field, but I had no idea how I would start. So I thought joining this mentorship program would help me out a lot. So when I first joined, oh sorry, I'm like a little bit nervous with public speaking. It's something I'm still working on.
Well, that's okay. At least
No worries.
we cracked the ice a little bit with the program, right? We got you a little bit.
You're
Oh,
doing
yeah,
just
definitely.
fine. You're doing just fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like initially when I first joined, like I started learning all these different things about like rules and policies, especially with learning about the NIST framework. And weekly, I would always converse with Ken during our presentations just to reiterate a few things, and I found it to be very, very fruitful to my experience.
Hans, what class were you in? Were you in the threat within, or
Yes,
were
I
you in
was.
IT audit? Okay,
I
I
was in the
remember
threat
you.
Yeah.
And this was a combination of all different schools. It was very, very unique. What were the different schools that were there, Deborah?
I believe it was all New Jersey-based schools. So we had St. Peter's represented, we had Rowan, we had Stevens, it was all, Frank opened that class up to everyone with any college within the state of New Jersey.
That's
Oh,
great.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the New Jersey EDA that was sponsoring the cybersecurity program for the first time. And yeah, and there is a, something maybe we can work on, Ken, and then I'll turn it back over to you guys for the night. But there is an initiative called Big Data Initiative, and we're integrating the cybersecurity into that. And I think it's the 19 universities in the state. And we want to run a program through all the universities, which is this. And so we can get, if we can get ISC squared plugged into that. And folks, I did speak with Ken about taking this ambassador program that we're launching and working with ISC squared with the chapter in New Jersey to launch that chapter to launch that program, which is where we create kind of like a student, what is it called, Deborah? A student in the schools.
Ambassador program?
Yeah, the
Oh,
clubs.
the student, yeah, we helped ISACA set up clubs at several of our partner schools. So this is something Ken and I have discussed, if we could expand that presence certainly within the state. There's that huge disconnect between that first job and college and getting that first job. So anything that we can do to provide experiences or networking, anything that helps get students the experience that they need to successfully interview and land that job. And as Hans eloquently explained, it's oftentimes the first experience with both.
And I spoke to Ed Moskal, who heads our curriculum program. He was also chair of the cyber program at St. Peter's about this the other day. And Ken, he said he'd be delighted to work with you on it.
What do you say? He'd be delighted. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We will continue having conversations and growing this relationship. That's for sure.
And Ken, I'll just say that while you were busy, I was reading a bunch of these of people's chat, and we would love to work with you all on these. We believe that it's for students. We believe there's a lot of folks, workers in the workforce that would love to transition into cyber. This program is perfect for them. There's a lot of displaced workers as well, and we're working at state levels to bring displaced workers back into the market and understand, because we can pinpoint the skills they have. We're using MLAI and other technologies to do that. We understand the skills, we map it to the skills frameworks, the standards, and we could really isolate what opportunities, what professions they could pursue, whether it's an analyst or a tech position or whatever it may be, and then point them right to where the jobs are. So we work with organizations that scrape the job boards. So there's a lot behind this, but thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully definitely looks like we'll have an opportunity to work together and grow this with you and grow your membership.
Alyssa, were you about to say something? I wanted to make sure that you got some airtime.
Yeah, sure, Ken. No, I just wanted to speak quickly on, I'm a mentor. Deborah actually introduced me to the program through ISACA about 3 years ago, and now I'm on my second mentoring class. And I just want to say it's a great program. It's a great opportunity. You get a ton back, as everybody has mentioned before, from working with the students, but you also get a ton professionally, just growing, getting to meet the other mentors, hearing about what they're doing. So if you're on the fence about it and thinking, oh, I don't really have time to do, dedicate to maybe like 4 hours a week, if that, it's like 2 hours for the course, and then you spend a little bit of time reviewing what they're putting together. It's well worth it. Like, try to make the time. You definitely get more than that back professionally. So
yeah, I concur with that. Yeah, definitely.
And even before COVID, the mentors always joined remotely. This was a dial-in, so we really try to make it as easy for you to mentor and really greatly affect someone's future. You have no idea how much this means to students to be able to practice in front of you and to engage and learn from you. And also, ultimately, if their relationship is right and built appropriately, use you as a reference, which is huge to them. Thank you very much, Ken, for bringing us aboard, and Alex, of course, for the introduction, and to all of you for your interest in our program. We really, truly appreciate it.
No, thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Hans, Alyssa, everybody. Okay, it's